One of the worst feelings is when you are floored by heartbreak. And in those moments, we are scrabbling around for anything and everything that will make us feel better. And if you're anything like me, my team here today were just talking about it, or any of my friends, what we can be prone to doing is analysing, overthinking, going into your head, scraping over every old message, every bit of information, anything to try and find a home for it. And what's happening is your system is trying to soothe itself. It's your inner critic again activating to try and find a home for this with your ego. So maybe we're angry because it's their fault and they did all these things wrong. Maybe we're devastated because we're not good enough and I should have done this, or I should have said that, or I wish I'd been more like this, or something else. None of this may be true. And in this moment, and I know how it feels, trust me, it's anything that you can do to find a home for some of these feelings. The thing that helped me the most, and the thing that I talk to clients about, is understanding what's actually happening in your body. And it goes way, way back again to working with the inner critic, which I talk about in other videos, where we lived in community because our survival was dependent on it. When you're in relationship, you're attached. We talk about attachment systems and styles. There's really beautiful, popular work on it. When you are breaking up from somebody, your system goes into this panic mode that you're no longer in an attachment, you're no longer as safe. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're going it alone all of a sudden, you get this rush from your physiology going back to times when we depended on community for our survival. So all of a sudden, although I'm 42 and I live alone and I'm perfectly safe with my daughter, my system tells me I'm absolutely not safe at all. I'm very, very vulnerable. I'm in danger. So it's drawing me back to reconnect, even to a system that was potentially really unhealthy. Attachment systems have also got a bit of a funky game that they play with us and trick us. If you found yourself coming out of a toxic relationship, especially if it's maybe with a narcissist or something like that, and there's a lot more I'll talk about on trauma bonding and different stages of that in another video. But relationships and our attachment system have got a very, very clever, quite cunning way of balancing out the crappy ones with the good ones. So, for example, you could have a very toxic relationship, but let's be honest, the sex might be absolutely incredible. And you're like, how can this be so? And it's because our attachment system, this wonderful system, needs us to be together, to be safe. So what it does is it balances out that system and draws us to people that can keep us connected and attached. Even though the relationship is quite shitty and unsafe, it can dial up the other area to balance it out, to keep us connected. So what I want you to remember, if you're feeling any shame about this as well, because sometimes we can feel about a huge amount of shame. Why did I stay with them for so long? Why did I allow that behavior? Why did I go through all of this? Why didn't I listen to my friends? Why am I sat here right now watching this woman talking about it? And how can I learn my lesson and not ever do it again? First things first, your system is making choices for you. It functions much quicker and fires faster than the rest of you. Please don't feel any shame about this, about why you might be finding yourself here now. The important thing for you to know is some of these feelings of pain, I'm sorry, obviously it's very real for you. And the emotional experience you're having is something to work through. And there's lots of other videos on this channel and others of great value. But a thing that might help to ground you and feel safe in this moment when you're feeling absolutely awful is to understand that a lot of this is a very outdated software system designed to keep you attached to another from days when we needed survival and we needed to live out in the wild and have our basic needs met. You no longer live like that. If you're watching this video, there's no chance you're living like that. You might be unsafe in other areas, and I'm sorry if that's the case, but you do have your basic needs met. So what is it that you can do in this moment to ground your system and make yourself feel safe? Text a loved one, text a friend, tell someone that you love them, receive that back, do a grounding practice, whatever that might look like for you, do some breath work. Just simply understanding and reminding yourself that you are safe. Your system is safe, and you should start to feel that decompressing a little bit. Doesn't mean the hurt isn't real, doesn't mean the betrayal isn't real, doesn't mean you haven't experienced what you've experienced, and I'm sorry about that, and I've been there. But it does mean that you are safe to be alone, and that changes everything.